Hello, welcome to the Eclectic Reader. Listen to great books and stories while you use your eyes and hands for other things. Now here's your host, Madison Mason.
Hi, it's Madison Mason. Well done. We're getting close to the end now. We're at chapter 58 of The Grey Quarry Boys. The Grey Quarry Boys, chapter 58, Elvis Knew. Bob Tuttle pulled up in front of Sarles Davenport's house as Ed approached in the dark. Hey, Bob. Damn, it's getting cold. What's up? Stay close, Ed. I'm taking this guy in. I believe he killed Doc Davenport and the missus. Shit, no kidding? The door was still ajar when they got to the porch. Bob rang the doorbell, and when no answer came, he stepped inside the lighted foyer, arrest warrant in his hand. He didn't expect trouble from a soft type like Sarles Davenport. He stopped in his tracks and pulled his revolver. Holy mother of God. Ed Bratcher blurted into the living room, his mouth hanging open. Look at that. Sweet Jesus. Bob Tuttle slid the warrant back into his leather jacket pocket and squinted. Damn, won't be needing this now. Better go tell the state boys, and don't touch anything. Shit, what a way to go, Bob. Somebody blew away his crotch and abdomen, and check out that look on his face. Yeah, Ed, just go call the state police and give 'em this address, and tell 'em no sirens. Damn, there's blood and guts everywhere, Ed mumbled as he headed for the door. Bob Tuttle searched the other rooms in the small house, then came back and stood alone in the living room with the shocked corpse of Sarles Davenport, whom he was convinced was a murderer. And he didn't know why. Why would the man engineer the death of his own brother and sister-in-law, and who would do this to him in return? What was going on? Could that little girl have done this? The prima facie would point straight to that girl. But where was the girl? The state police would have their work cut out for them in Grey Quarry that night. Where the hell was that girl? Buddy sat in the darkness while the night suddenly grew cold around him. He shivered at the damp settled on his skin. Pretty soon it would be time to go in. Ralph would be asleep, and it would be safe to do what he had to do. His mind wandered to Lorraine and their life together. He couldn't remember a time when it was good, when he felt safe or loved. His mother was just a person who he shared a life with, who didn't necessarily want him or care for him beyond some duty she felt. And now she was gone. Sue Marie was the only female he felt affection for, and it might be mostly pity for a fellow loser, but it was love to him anyway. She wanted Sarles Davenport dead, and Buddy had given her that. Maybe now she could be a girl again. He wondered if she would ever know. He thought of Ralph Scanlon, passed out in the house now. If Ralph was awake, he'd beat Buddy senseless for using his radio and leaving it on that screaming Negra music. But Ralph had beaten Buddy James for the last time. Tonight, it would be over. All of it. Forever. He rose and walked into the house. Easing the door open, he stepped softly inside. Ralph snored in the bedroom with the lights still on. Buddy went to his bedroom and flicked on his lights. He set down the gas can as he surveyed the damage to his room. Ralph had got his revenge for the radio. Everything Buddy owned, which wasn't much, was ruined. His dresser drawers were all open and empty, and his wall mirror was shattered. His clothes were knifed to shreds and piled on the floor. And worst of all, his two harmonicas were pounded flat with a hammer and tossed onto his bed, dead victims of hate. Buddy stared at them and felt nothing. He had no pulse, no heartbeat, no thought, no reaction. He was already dead, cold and wholly uncaring of consequence. He stared at his harmonicas and knew he would never play again, and he didn't care anymore. Clyde McFadder would have to make it without him. He lugged the gas can into Ralph's bedroom. Ralph snored the sleep of the stunned, the empty whiskey bottle next to the bed. Buddy coolly unscrewed the gas cap and poured the contents of the can all over the bed, Ralph, the curtains, and the floor. He stepped out to the door and lit a match. He tossed it in the room and ducked behind the door jamb. The bedroom exploded into flame, belching fire out into the living room. The couch caught on fire. Screams came from Ralph's room as Buddy tried to look inside and watch, but the room was completely engulfed in fire, as if he were looking into the heart of hell. He pulled the pliers from his pocket and turned the radio up full blast to drown out Ralph's dying screams, and so it would be the last thing Ralph Scanlon would ever hear. It was pure irony that the hit playing at that last moment was none other than Jerry Lee Lewis singing Great Balls of Fire. It was Elvis who knew Buddy James's pain more than anyone in the world, aside from Sue Marie Davenport. Elvis came on next. Buddy walked from the living room into his bedroom and closed the door to keep out the smoke which now filled the house. Treat me like a fool, treat me mean and cruel, but love me, Elvis knew. When the flames had crawled from the couch to the curtains and began to eat at his closed bedroom door, the sound of the radio was drowned out by the roar of a shotgun blast from Buddy's room. The DJ followed Elvis with Bill Haley and the Comets playing See You Later, Alligator, as the radio melted. The Rawlins County Volunteer Fire Department arrived too late to save anything. All they could do was keep the freezing neighbors in their bathrobes and pajamas back from the house and spray water on the fire. Little was left but the frame. The old wood house had gone up like kindling, and it would be hours before anyone would know who was in that house when it caught. They knew the old man was drunk and a smoker, and must have fallen asleep with a lit cigarette. It was hoped that the kid wasn't in there. Everybody agreed it was a crying shame, and too many bad things had happened in Gray Quarry this year. It must be some kind of a jinx. The preachers would have something to say about it all on this Sunday. A crying shame.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of The Eclectic Reader. Please go on to the next numbered episode to continue. Also, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you'd like to help support the project, you can donate under Madison Mason at Patreon. And please, check out our website, kltkrdr.com, for more information.
Hi, this is Madison Mason. I want to personally thank you for listening to The Eclectic Reader and invite you to share your experience, your thoughts, and your suggestions. We have many great books lined up for the future, but if you have requests for anything that is in the public domain, please email us at kltkrdr@gmail.com.
kltkrdr@gmail.com